Chosen one, you are not here by accident. This moment you are in right now was planned long before you ever even took your first breath or started this part of your journey. Heaven has carefully arranged this exact time and place with a lot of care and purpose. What I am about to say to you is not just ordinary words. It is a special message meant just for you, a divine appointment, a spiritual call, and a powerful confirmation. You have reached the edge of a major spiritual change that you cannot ignore any longer. Anointed one, even though you may not see it yet, something in the invisible realm has already started to move on your behalf. Your name is being quietly spoken in places you have never been to, and your steps are being guided toward chances and opportunities that you did not have to chase or search for. What you once thought was just waiting or delay was actually a careful plan from heaven to get you ready for what is next. Now you are standing right at the doorway of a sudden rise, a quick and powerful increase in your life, including a special transfer of wealth from heaven. This sudden blessing will not come just because of hard work or hustle. It will come at the perfect time, the time that God has already set for you. The Bible tells us in Habakkuk 2:3 that the vision will come at the right time, and it will not be late. Chosen one, this is your moment. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing. The winds of the Spirit are shifting direction. God has not just prepared a blessing for you, He has prepared you for that blessing. So, open your heart and mind to receive it. Something holy and sacred is about to be unlocked in your life. Listen carefully, chosen one, because what I am about to speak into your spirit is not common wisdom. It is a special revelation meant only for the anointed, those who have been walking through times that were confusing, hard, lonely, and full of unknowns. You might have been wondering why your path was so narrow and the preparation so intense. The truth is that heaven has marked you for something heavy and sacred, something so powerful that most people would give up if they were faced with it. The sudden wealth coming your way is not a random event, a lucky chance, or a simple financial change. It is a divine appointment, a supernatural assignment, and a spiritual release that has been waiting for the exact moment when your spirit would be strong enough to carry what your heart once thought it was ready for. Anointed one, sudden wealth is not just a blessing. It is a test wrapped inside a miracle. It is God showing you what He wrote about you a long time ago. When sudden elevation comes into your life, it brings everything inside you to the surface. It shows what was quiet when life was simple and easy. The moment blessings increase, your spirit faces the truth. The truth is that God does not give this kind of increase to just make you feel good or to impress you. He gives it to inspect you, to see who you really are inside. I learned this the hard way in my own life when I prayed for more without understanding that more would show who I truly was, not who I was pretending to be. There was a time when I thought I was ready for doors to open wide and for many opportunities to come. But when even small blessings started to arrive, I saw how quickly impatience would rise inside me, how pride would try to whisper in my ear, and how old wounds tried to shape new decisions. It taught me that God waits until your soul is steady and ready before He gives you heavy blessings. Chosen one, sudden wealth will show parts of your heart you didn't even know were still hidden. It will reveal whether you want power for the wrong reasons or if you want to use it to make a real difference. It will show if you want attention or if you want to serve a true purpose. The fact that heaven is preparing you for this right now means that God has looked into your heart and found depth, humility, and readiness, even if you don't always feel ready yourself. Most people want the reward of wealth, but don't want the hard work of wisdom that comes with it. But you are different. You have been through seasons where God removed people you thought would always stay. You survived times of wilderness where you had to walk by faith and not by sight. You learned how to stretch yourself a little and trust God a lot. You learned how to hear God's voice in the quiet moments. Because of all this, you are becoming the kind of person that heaven can trust. Sudden wealth is not coming only to increase your life in a material way. It is coming to wake up your discipline, your ability to make wise choices, and your understanding of who God has made you to be. Let me tell you something from my own experience. When God starts to increase your life, He also increases your awareness. Wealth does not stop temptation, it actually makes it louder and harder to ignore. It does not take away your insecurities, it shows them clearly. It does not remove pressure, it makes it greater. I remember a time when I went from having barely enough to suddenly having more than I was used to. Instead of feeling free, I felt confronted. I faced old habits I thought I had left behind, fears I hoped were gone, and parts of myself that still needed to grow. That's when I realized that abundance is not a final place to reach, but a test to pass. This is why God trains the chosen one in seasons of lack, not to punish you, but to prepare you to handle prosperity with purity. Anointed one, listen carefully. Wealth is like a magnifying glass, not a changer. It will make louder whatever is already inside you. This is why God has been working on your heart so deeply. This is why you have been going through changes inside that other people don't see. This is why your spirit feels stretched as if you are being pulled into something bigger than yourself. It is because God does not want your wealth to grow faster than your wisdom. He does not want your money to grow faster than your maturity. He does not want your blessings to rise higher than your boundaries. He is shaping you so that your wealth does not break you but builds you up. And I need you to hear this clearly, chosen one. You have already passed tests you didn't even know were tests. You walked away from people who tried to pull you down but were a threat to your calling. You stopped chasing opportunities that looked good on the outside but felt wrong in your spirit. You chose to be uncomfortable rather than compromise your values. You chose to heal instead of hiding your pain. You chose to grow instead of feeding your ego. Heaven has taken notice of these things. God has watched how you handled the small things, and it showed something powerful about you. You are not driven by greed. You are driven by purpose. Sudden wealth will test many people, but heaven is getting you ready to pass that test before it even comes. I want to share something personal from my own journey. There was a time when I thought God was keeping blessings from me. I didn't understand why doors stayed closed and chances slipped away. But later, when God finally trusted me with more, I realized the truth. If I had received those blessings too early, I would have lost them. Not because I was ungrateful, but because I wasn't ready. Preparation is mercy, delay is protection, holding back is love. Chosen one, you have now reached the moment where preparation is turning into release. Heaven is moving and opening doors. What is coming is not small, not short-lived, and not fragile. It is planned carefully, it is divine, and it is earned in the unseen places of your life. It will come to you with purpose, weight, and destiny. Chosen one, as you keep walking through this divine process, I want you to understand something deep and spiritual that most people never realize until it is too late. Sudden wealth doesn't just come to lift up your lifestyle. It also comes to show you the true nature of the people around you. It will reveal who was really happy you survived, but who secretly didn't want you to succeed. Before heaven gives you more provision, it gives you more perception. God will never pour blessings into a life that is surrounded by hands unworthy to handle what He gives. I learned this the hard way during a season when I confused familiarity for loyalty. There were people I kept close just because they had been around a long time. But when small chances started coming my way, their tone changed, their behavior shifted, and their support faded. That's when I realized that history and covenant are not the same thing. God often lets the wrong people leave before he sends the right blessings to arrive. And chosen ones must accept this pruning as a kind of protection from God, not as rejection or failure. You have been through times when people tried to say your delay was a failure, but heaven used that delay to show you who could not be trusted with your next level. When God hides you, he is not making you smaller or less important. He is cleaning your environment. He is removing every person who drains your energy, every spirit that steals from your peace, and every companion who only valued you when it was easy for them. The quiet times you felt were not emptiness, they were separation. The silence was not abandonment, it was protection. The loneliness was not punishment, it was preparation for the kind of increase that needs clarity, not confusion. And chosen one, you pass those seasons with more grace than you know. You learned to pray with fewer voices around you. You learned to hear God without needing people's approval. You learned to support yourself when others chose to compete instead of help. That inner growth is exactly why heaven is now moving your life forward. The next phase of your calling needs a spirit that cannot be controlled, a heart that cannot be bought, and a mind that cannot be tricked by fake connections. As sudden wealth draws near, the enemy will become more clever. He cannot stop your blessing anymore, so he tries to contaminate the vessel, your heart and mind. He will send distractions disguised as opportunities, false partnerships that look like destiny, and deals wrapped in promises of fast success, but that carry the smell of compromise. I remember a time in my own life when an offer came that looked perfect on paper, promising exposure, income, and influence. Everything in the natural seemed right, but my spirit said no. That small voice was quiet but clear. Something felt off in the atmosphere, so I walked away. Only months later did I see the truth. That opportunity would have trapped me in a system built on lies and control. If I had accepted it, I would have lost my peace in exchange for a platform. That experience taught me that discernment, being able to tell what is right, is worth more than any amount of money. When God lifts up the chosen one, the enemy raises his tricks. This is why you have to trust the uncomfortable feelings in your spirit. You must listen to the hesitation you feel when something does not match your purpose. Not every open door is from God, and not every partnership is meant for you. Heaven will never ask you to give up your integrity for power. God will never send a blessing that goes against what he created you to do. Chosen one, wealth is not just money. It carries spiritual weight, a divine responsibility, and changes for your whole family and future generations. When God raises you up, he also increases the spiritual battles around you because your blessing changes what you can see in the spiritual world. From my own experience, I learned that being lifted up brings more resistance from the enemy. This is why you must hold onto prayer like a ship holds onto an anchor during a storm. But here is the truth you must never forget. Spiritual battles mean you are moving forward, and resistance means the enemy is scared because he knows something big is rising in you that he cannot stop. The pressure you feel right now is proof that heaven has already approved your next level. You are not being broken by these challenges. You are being built stronger. You are not being overwhelmed by them. You are being sharpened and prepared. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being opposed because you carry something powerful that the enemy fears. This season of getting ready is not only about learning how to receive sudden wealth, but also about learning how to handle it wisely, with integrity, and with spiritual understanding. Chosen one, wealth without knowing who you really are becomes a trap that can hold you back instead of lifting you up. Wealth without healing becomes a battlefield inside and around you, filled with struggles that never seem to end. Wealth without a clear purpose becomes like a prison, trapping you in a life that feels empty and meaningless. But when wealth is placed in the hands of the chosen one, it becomes a powerful tool for restoration and healing. It becomes a tool that heaven uses to break the chains of limits passed down from generation to generation, to open doors for others who need help, to support dreams and visions that were once ignored or forgotten, and to bring answers to prayers whispered quietly by people you might never even meet in this life. You are being prepared not just to handle money, but to handle influence, impact, and a lasting legacy. The reason why the training and the refining process has been so intense is that God is shaping you into the kind of leader who will not fall apart under pressure. He is shaping you into the kind of giver who will stay humble and not become proud. He is making you into the kind of vessel that can hold abundance without losing purity and without being damaged by it. Chosen one, what lies ahead of you is not small or weak. It is not something that will easily break or disappear. What is coming is a mantle, a calling from heaven, a clear sign that God trusts you with more than most people could ever manage. And as you take steps toward this sudden wealth, I want you to hold on to one very important truth. You are not rising by yourself. Every breakthrough you experience is connected to someone else's freedom. Every door that opens for you carries someone else's deliverance. Every resource you receive will have a ripple effect, touching lives you may never even see. You are being raised up not only to prosper for yourself, but to bring transformation to the world around you. This next move of God in your life will confirm everything your spirit has been feeling or sensing all along. As you go deeper into this divine process unfolding in your life, there is a truth you must accept with maturity and spiritual understanding. Sudden wealth will not only lift you up, it will also expose you. It will bring to light parts of you that were easy to hide or ignore when your life was simple and predictable. It will bring up emotional wounds that you could manage when your responsibilities were smaller. It will challenge your identity in ways you might not expect, because abundance has a way of waking up the parts of you that quietly carried shame, doubt, or fear. I experienced this personally during a time when God unexpectedly lifted my life. Opportunities started coming faster, resources increased, and people began to treat me differently. For a moment, I felt like I was not ready. It felt like I was a stranger in the middle of my own breakthrough. I asked myself if I deserved this, if it was a mistake, and if I would lose everything just as quickly as it had come. But what I didn't realize then was that the blessing was not about testing my finances. It was about testing my faith. It was measuring whether my identity was truly rooted in God, or if it was still tied to my past experiences and history. Wealth can bring up old memories and feelings. It can remind you of times when you felt unworthy, overlooked, dismissed, or underestimated. It can pull you back into ways of thinking shaped by lack from childhood or fear passed down through your family. I had to face the quiet voices inside me that said I wasn't enough. I had to confront the silent beliefs that told me I had to struggle and suffer to prove I was valid. I had to face the inner critic that doubted every good thing that started coming my way. And chosen one, you will face these same kinds of moments too, not because you are weak, but because you are being lifted up into a place your old self was never built to live in. Heaven is stretching your identity so that it can match the size of your calling and assignment. You are no longer living as the person you used to be. You are stepping fully into who you were always meant to become. This is why God works on your inner world before He expands what you see and have on the outside. He heals the orphan spirit inside you before He releases the inheritance meant for you. He breaks the old mindset of scarcity before He multiplies your provision and blessings. He uproots the belief that you are alone before He gives you responsibility that affects others. I have seen God do this in my own life many times. There were seasons when I felt abandoned, not realizing God was taking away my dependence on other people so that I could learn to depend fully on Him. There were times when I had just enough to get by, not understanding that God was teaching me discipline and self-control so that when abundance came, it wouldn't destroy me. Every time things felt tight or limited was actually a time of training. Every time something was taken away was a time of alignment. Every silent moment was part of God's plan and strategy. Now, when new opportunities come my way, I don't shrink back or feel small anymore. I step into them with authority and confidence because I know they are not random or accidental. They are written and planned by God. Chosen one, as sudden wealth comes near you, you will notice something unusual happening around you. People from your past might come back into your life, not because they have healed or changed, but because they sense something shifting in your life. Some of them will want to reconnect without being accountable for what they did. Some will act like nothing ever happened. Some will try to attach themselves to your success as if they were part of the journey that brought you here. And you may feel tempted to prove yourself to them, to remind them of who you are now. But this is the moment where spiritual maturity is needed more than ever. Wealth will give you many options, but wisdom will teach you to be careful and to say no sometimes. Forgiving someone doesn't always mean letting them back into your life. Closing a chapter doesn't always require a conversation, and just because you have risen to a new level doesn't mean you owe anyone access to your life or your circle. I had to learn this the hard way myself when someone who hurt me deeply showed up again after things started going well for me. For a moment, I wanted to show off my growth and prove what God had done in my life. But then, something inside me whispered that true elevation is quiet and humble. The blessing speaks for itself without needing words. That moment taught me that forgiveness is not really about releasing the other person. It is about releasing the part of myself that was still tied to that pain. Chosen one, you will face moments like this too. Old faces from your past will try to test your new strength. Old wounds will try to challenge your new identity. But you must remember this. Wealth is not a weapon to hurt others. It is a mirror that shows how far you have come and who you have become. Sudden wealth brings access, but it also demands strong boundaries. It brings influence, but it also asks for humility. It brings attention, but it also calls for careful judgment. You will need to learn how to tell who truly supports your purpose and who is just attracted to your progress. You will need to know who claps sincerely for you and who claps just to stay near your spotlight. You will need to see that some people will love your success because it benefits them, but deep down they will resent your rise because it shows up their own limitations. And you must be able to walk through this without letting your heart grow hard. Your heart must stay pure and soft, even if your circle of friends and supporters becomes smaller. Chosen one, the wealth coming to you is not just money. It is heavenly wealth, and it is more than provision. It is about positioning. It places you in a place where your voice matters, where your influence changes lives, where your generosity can shift entire family lines, and where your decisions will echo far beyond your own lifetime. You are entering a new chapter where wealth is a tool to be used, not something to be your identity. It is a responsibility, not a trophy to show off. It is a calling, not a comfort zone to hide in. You are becoming the kind of person who can hold abundance without breaking under its weight. Someone who can receive blessings without losing humility. Someone who can rise up without forgetting the one who lifted you. And this next movement of heaven in your life will confirm that you are no longer the person you used to be. You are stepping fully into who you were always chosen to be. Chosen one, as you continue to walk into this divine season, I need you to understand that there is a reason why heaven has been sharpening your ability to judge well, refining your instincts, and training your spirit to sense things that the natural eye cannot see. Sudden wealth is not just an increase in your resources, it is an unveiling. It shows true intentions, exposes hidden attachments, and uncovers motives that were invisible when your life was calm and quiet. When God raises you up, He also raises the level of spiritual battles in your life, not because you are weak, but because your influence is becoming stronger and heavier. The weight of influence always brings both light and shadow. I learned this from my own experience when God began to change things for me in ways I could not fully explain. People who once ignored me suddenly wanted to know more. People who doubted me before suddenly wanted to be close and have access. People who had no interest in my life started having strong opinions about where I was going. In that season, God whispered something I will never forget. Elevation reveals eyesight. It shows you who saw your value before the world saw your rise. As sudden wealth gets closer to your life, you must be ready for the changes in the atmosphere around you. Some will celebrate you with joy, but others will feel threatened by your success. Some will honor your growth, but others will secretly resent your progress. Some will applaud your rise, but others will quietly ask themselves why God chose you instead of them. Their reactions have nothing to do with your character and everything to do with what your blessing shows in their hearts. The rise of the chosen one forces others to face their own stuck places. Your elevation becomes a mirror that reflects decisions they never made, healing they never sought, and potential they never reached. And even if you don't mean to cause pain or stir feelings, favor has a way of waking up things people thought they had buried deep inside. This is why God isolates the chosen one before He lifts them up. He removes unnecessary attachments and closes the doors of relationships that cannot survive the fresh air and new oxygen of your next level. In my own life, I found myself grieving over connections I thought would last forever, not realizing that God was protecting me from betrayal. There were people who loved my humility but would have hated my abundance, people who supported my struggle but could not celebrate my success, people who were okay with my potential but were scared of my fulfillment. Heaven saw things I did not see at the time, and by the time the blessing arrived, the wrong voices and influences had already been removed. Chosen one, God has done the same thing for you. Some of the goodbyes you experienced hurt your heart deeply, but they were protecting your destiny. Some of the separations felt cruel, but they cleared the space you needed to grow. Some of the losses felt unfair, but they were mercy from God, disguised as disappointment. As sudden wealth approaches, you need to understand the difference between covenant and convenience. Covenant is the kind of relationship that stays with you during hard times, celebrates you when you grow, and protects you when you have abundance. Convenience is the kind of relationship that stays only as long as it benefits them, applauds only when it's easy and comfortable, and disappears when your rise makes them feel insecure. Chosen one, the wealth that is coming to you is too heavy for fake support or false friends to carry. Heaven will not allow parasites or leeches in a season that is meant for purpose and destiny. This is why every door that closed, every silent season you experienced, and every change in your relationships happened exactly when it did. God was protecting his investment in you, but sudden wealth also demands a new level of self-awareness. It will show you any part of yourself that still feels unworthy of increase. It will expose whether you still hold onto old stories, old wounds, old failures, or old labels that no longer fit who you have become. When wealth finally comes into your life, it will ask you an important question that your spirit must be ready to answer. Do you believe you belong here? I remember the first time God blessed me in a way that was more than I understood. I felt a strong mix of gratitude and disbelief. Part of me felt seen, chosen, and worthy, but another part felt out of place, almost like I had walked into a room meant for someone else. That feeling was not humility. It was leftover pain and doubt from a life where I was often overlooked, underestimated, and told that I wasn't enough. It came from years when lack felt normal and abundance felt impossible. Chosen one, you might feel this same tension inside you, but listen carefully. You were not accidentally invited into this season. You were destined for it. Heaven did not make a mistake by sending this breakthrough to your life. God did not deliver this blessing to the wrong place. You are stepping into a chapter that was always written for you, and every moment of struggle was practice and preparation for the reality you are about to live. Your spirit is finally catching up to what heaven already prepared for you. Chosen one, this rising in your life is not about building up your ego or showing off to others. It is about stepping into the assignment that God has given you. It is not about proving to the world how much you have gained or what you own. Instead, it is about showing heaven that you are ready and capable of handling what is coming your way. You are not being lifted up so people will be impressed by you. You are being lifted up so that you can make a real, lasting impact on the world around you. Wealth itself is not the reward. It is the responsibility that comes with what God is trusting you to manage. Heaven has looked at your character, your ability to endure hard things, your humility, and your obedience. And God has decided that you are ready to carry what others thought was impossible for you to bear. You have been through storms and trials designed to break you, but you have survived. You have gone through things that others didn't see or understand. You stayed faithful even when giving up would have felt like the easier choice. Now, heaven is responding to your faithfulness and strength. Chosen one, the sudden wealth coming to you is not just a financial blessing. It is a spiritual sign that God is approving you, saying that you are ready. Ready to build, ready to manage what has been given, ready to rise up, and ready to fully step into the person you were created to be. Everything you have gone through until now has prepared you to carry this next chapter of your life with grace, wisdom, and the authority that comes from God. As God continues to guide your steps, there is a deeper part of this journey that you need to get ready for in your heart. Sudden wealth will not just change your bank account or financial situation. It will change the way you live your life. It carries a spiritual weight that pulls you into a higher level of responsibility, influence, and being seen by others. The blessing you are moving into is not random or by chance. It is a blessing meant for generations. It is the kind of blessing that changes family lines, breaks old patterns that existed long before you were born, and plants seeds that will grow even after you are gone. But this kind of increase needs a soul that is anchored in purpose, not ego, clarity, not confusion, and the ability to choose wisely, not simply follow desires. When God trusts you with abundance, He is not just giving you a reward for your efforts. He is revealing your true assignment, In my own life, I learned that wealth does more than change your circumstances. It changes your calling. It places you in rooms where important decisions are made, where influence shapes the future, and where resources become tools for making a big impact. In those places, your voice, your values, and your spiritual foundation matter more than ever. Wealth makes you more visible. It magnifies who you already are inside. It makes your character, your intentions, and your priorities clearer to everyone around you. And God has spent many years shaping those parts of you because He is not raising you just to be rich. He is raising you to be responsible, refined, and spiritually ready for the great responsibility resting on your life. There will come a moment when you look back and realize you are no longer just trying to survive. You will no longer make decisions out of fear. Instead, you will make them based on vision. You will no longer respond to pressure from outside. You will respond from a place of clear purpose. This is the shift God brings in your life before the sudden wealth arrives. God changes how you relate to resources so that money serves you instead of controlling you. I have experienced this shift myself. There was a time when I thought money was security or relief, a way to escape pain I had known. But the more God worked in my heart, the more I understood that real wealth is not about how much you collect. It is about what you are trusted to manage and use well. Chosen one, the wealth coming to you is not meant to fill your life for selfish reasons. It is meant to grow your ability to make a difference. You will find yourself supporting dreams and visions that might have died without your yes. You will lift up people who once had no voice, and you will plant seeds that grow into opportunities others prayed for. You are becoming a vessel God uses to bring answers into the world. That is why your heart has been tested so strongly. God wants to make sure that abundance does not corrupt you, that influence does not distract you, and that success does not lead you away from your path. The chosen one's assignment is different from others. While many chase applause and fame, you will be drawn to your purpose. While many seek the spotlight, you will seek to be aligned with God's plan. While many show off what they have, you will build with what you have been given. As your influence grows, so will the spiritual battles around your life. Wealth brings attention, both from God and from forces that do not want to see you succeed. When the blessing lands, the enemy will try to attach false and harmful opportunities to your momentum. He will send alliances designed to weaken your vision. He will bring partners who want to control your purpose and contracts that look promising but are actually traps. I experienced this in a season when everything in my life started moving quickly. People came to me with big ideas, grand promises, and flashy opportunities. Some spoke my language, shared my passion, and flattered my potential. But as I prayed and listened, I realized their spirits were not aligned with mine. I learned that discernment is not just about spotting what looks bad. It is about seeing what looks good, but is actually rooted in darkness. Chosen one, you must trust your spirit more than your eyes. Not every investor or partner is sent by God. Not every opportunity is part of your destiny. Heaven will never ask you to compromise your character in order to rise higher. You will know when something is not from God because it will bring confusion instead of clarity, pressure instead of peace, and urgency instead of alignment. The blessings from God never come with sorrow or heaviness. Anything that weighs down your spirit is not part of your assignment. As sudden wealth comes into your life, you will also notice a change in how people relate to you. Your rise will make some uncomfortable, especially those who have refused to grow themselves. Some will feel entitled to your increase. Some will expect to have access to your life simply because they knew you before the blessing. Others will feel jealous or resentful because you are moving beyond the limits they accepted for themselves. But chosen one, your journey is not meant to be a group effort with everyone included. Rising up requires boundaries, and wealth requires some level of isolation. This is not because you are better than others, but because you are responsible for much more now. Your purpose cannot be slowed down by people who fear growth. Your assignment cannot be watered down by those who refuse to be accountable. And your spirit cannot be drained by those who only reach out when they want something from you. I had to learn how to respect and honor people without giving them full access to my life. I had to learn how to love others without letting them control or lead me. And I had to learn how to help people without letting them stop my progress. That wisdom saved my purpose, and it will save yours too. You must protect your peace with the same passion and intensity that you protect your wealth. Peace is the environment where wisdom grows, and wisdom is the foundation of how to manage what God has given you. Chosen one, what is coming to you is not just temporary wealth. It is spiritual authorization. Heaven is promoting you into a place where your presence carries weight. The decisions you make will shape futures, and your obedience will impact nations. You are stepping into a new chapter where your wealth is not just money. It is a calling. Everything you have been through was designed to prepare you for the power of this responsibility. You are not rising by accident. You are rising by assignment, and heaven is standing behind you. As you continue to move toward the place of sudden wealth, there is an important part of this journey that many overlook. Yet it is one of the most spiritually meaningful parts of your rise. Wealth will not just give you power, it will change the spiritual environment around you. The truth many ignore is this: when God increases you, He also increases the number of eyes watching you. Some eyes are from God, assigned to bless, guide, and protect you. But other eyes belong to those who want to take advantage, who watch to mimic or manipulate you. Before the blessing arrives, God makes sure your ability to see clearly and understand people becomes sharp. This is why you may be noticing shifts in the atmosphere around you. Some people might suddenly feel distant, uninterested, or disconnected from you. This is heaven removing the wrong watchers, so you can rise without becoming someone's prey. I remember a season in my life when I did not understand why some people I cared about grew cold toward me for no clear reason. Some became passive, aggressive, others withdrew completely, and some just disappeared. At first I took it personally. I wondered if I had done something wrong. But as I kept seeking God, He showed me something very important. Some people had been quietly studying me, waiting to see when the breakthrough would happen. They were not waiting to celebrate with me. They were waiting to take advantage. They would have drained my blessings faster than I could receive them. Their presence would have caused spiritual leaks in a season meant for overflow and increase. That was the moment I understood that separation is not always rejection. Sometimes it is spiritual protection. Heaven was creating space around me so that when the blessing arrived, it would not be stolen or wasted before it had a chance to grow roots. Chosen one, you are going through this same spiritual protection right now. Some people are simply not meant to be with you when God shows what He has been secretly building in your life. Some cannot carry the weight of your calling. Some cannot handle the truth about what you are meant to carry. Many people love the humble version of you because it feels safe and comfortable for them. But the elevated version of you will reveal insecurities in those who refuse to grow and change. That is why God is removing some people before He gives you provision. Your destiny cannot be placed in the hands of people who shake with envy. Your wealth cannot be surrounded by spirits that feed on jealousy or insecurity. And your increase cannot grow in places full of jealousy and hatred. But heaven is not just removing the wrong people. It is also showing you the financial gatekeepers who have been watching over you with good and pure intentions. You might not realize it yet, but your consistency, your integrity, your quiet obedience, and your spiritual strength have attracted people who have the power to open doors for you, doors that money alone can't open. In my own life, I learned that people with real influence often watch silently before they invest or step in openly. They are not impressed by noise or show. They are drawn to authenticity. They pay attention to how you handle disappointment, how you treat people who can't give you anything, and how you carry yourself during the small, quiet seasons. When they see humility, discipline, and purpose wrapped in spiritual maturity, they recognize someone God can trust. Chosen one, the right eyes have been watching you. Heaven has whispered your name in places you haven't entered yet. Your character has spoken louder than your circumstances. Your integrity has traveled further than your voice. There are people, divine connections, waiting for the moment heaven gives them permission to bless you. This will happen suddenly, unexpectedly, and unmistakably. When the timing is right, doors will open so clearly that you will know it was not by your effort alone. It was God's plan. But with this divine plan also comes another level of spiritual pressure. Sudden wealth will make some people upset, especially those who believe you skipped ahead unfairly. There will be people who once thought they were better than you, more qualified or more deserving. But when God raises the chosen one, he does not check resumes or qualifications. He checks hearts. When these people see God lifting you higher than they expected, their insecurities will rise. They may question your motives, gossip about your journey, or try to minimize your progress. They may twist your humility into weakness or your success into arrogance. But chosen one, you must rise above all the noise. Do not waste your energy trying to get validation from people who never valued you when you had nothing. Your rise is not a threat to anyone. It is the fulfillment of a promise from God. When the wealth comes, you will find yourself more isolated, not because you want to be distant, but because God is narrowing your circle to help you move with clear purpose. You will notice that conversations feel different, gatherings feel heavy, and some atmospheres will feel spiritually wrong. This happens because you are moving into a frequency that not everyone can keep up with. Wealth changes your environment because it changes your assignment. Your assignment needs clarity, sacredness, and careful thought. You cannot give yourself to everything or everyone anymore. You cannot stretch yourself thin just to prove loyalty. You cannot make yourself smaller just to make others comfortable. Your rise needs boundaries and your wealth needs wisdom. Chosen one, God is shaping you to be someone who can walk into rooms full of history makers with confidence. Someone whose presence carries weight, whose decisions carry influence, and whose voice carries authority. As you step into this new chapter, always remember this truth: you are not rising just to fit in. You are rising to fulfill your purpose. You are not being lifted to be noticed. You are being lifted to be strategic. And you are not becoming wealthy for applause. You are becoming wealthy because of your assignment. The weight on your life is not ordinary, and the wealth coming your way is not random. Heaven is preparing you for a powerful impact. Chosen one, as you go deeper into this spiritual preparation, there is a reality you must face with courage and understanding. Sudden wealth will not only lift you up, it will also isolate you in ways you never expected. But this isolation is not punishment. It is a refining process. God cannot let every voice, opinion, or influence come with you into the next level of your destiny. Some people are only meant to be part of your past, not your future. Some were meant to walk with you through hard times, but not into your success. And some were sent to be with you during your wilderness times, but cannot enter your promised land because their presence would harm the blessing God is releasing. In my own life, there was a moment when I realized that wealth is not just something you have. It is something you have to protect. When my life began to change, I noticed subtle shifts. People who once cheered me on began to compete with me. People who once encouraged me began to question me. And people who once walked beside me started to move away because the new version of me that God was raising looked very different from the version they were comfortable with. At first, I tried to hold on to these connections, thinking that loyalty meant keeping everyone close. But God showed me something important. Not everyone who starts with you is meant to stay with you. Elevation doesn't just show your heart, it shows theirs. Isolation becomes a safe place for the chosen one. It helps you hear God clearly without the noise of other people's opinions or expectations. It teaches you to trust your own feelings, to walk boldly, and to let go of the need for approval from others. Even though this time alone can feel heavy, it is actually heaven creating space for you to breathe spiritually. When God assigns you sudden wealth, He removes distractions so your ability to judge well stays sharp. You must learn to see who is truly for you, who is walking with you, and who is only near you for reasons that have nothing to do with love. Chosen one, the burden of being raised up is that you will realize how few people can truly celebrate your success. Jealousy hides well during hard times. It only shows itself when blessings start to flow. Some people won't congratulate you because your breakthrough reminds them of the risks they never took. Some will not cheer for you because your bravery shows up their fears. They might stay silent or even avoid supporting you because your success shines a light on their comfort zone, the place where they chose to settle and not grow. This is a hard truth about rising in God's plan. It reveals the true spiritual condition of the people around you. But instead of feeling sad or discouraged about this, allow it to set you free. Remember, the chosen one is not meant to carry a large crowd of followers. You are meant to carry a special calling, a purpose that requires quiet space and times of being alone with God. The people God brings close to you will be fewer, but they will be the right people, people you can trust. The circle around you will be smaller, but the hands you hold will be strong enough to help carry the weight of what you are building. Heaven is not taking things away from you by making your circle smaller. Instead, it is preparing you for the greater things ahead. But this feeling of being alone or isolated will not only come from people moving away. It will also come from changes inside of you. As sudden wealth and blessing approach, you will start to see the world differently. You will make choices that others might not understand. You will start to live with a wisdom that confuses those who are still stuck in old ways of thinking and living. You will guard your energy and protect your peace in ways that some might wrongly call pride. But this is not pride. It is careful management and stewardship of your life and what God has given you. You will find yourself wanting deeper conversations, meaningful connections, and relationships that line up with God's plan for you. This inner change is not about becoming distant from others. It is about becoming aligned with the mission God has given you. Eventually, you will come to see that feeling alone or isolated does not mean you lack support. It means God has chosen you for something special, and you are being set apart so that nothing can water down your purpose. Your spirit must remain free and clear of confusion, and your purpose cannot be weakened or compromised. The sudden wealth coming your way will require you to be emotionally strong. You cannot grow or keep what God is giving you in a life filled with chaos, jealousy, and unpredictability. God is not isolating you to hurt you or to punish you. He is isolating you to build you up, to prepare you. And as this isolation grows, your ability to understand and see things spiritually will also grow stronger. You will start to notice traps set in your path, disguised as great opportunities, things that look perfect on the surface but feel wrong deep inside your spirit. People who say nice things in public but secretly feel jealous or want to bring you down. Invitations that promise to lift you up but come with hidden costs that threaten your peace. This is where the spiritual training you have gone through becomes very important. The chosen one has to learn how to sense the spirit behind every opportunity, not just what is being said or promised. When God raises you up, the enemy raises his tricks as well. Fake blessings will come dressed up in success and excellence. False friends will come with charm and flattering words, but your spirit will be able to tell the difference. Peace in your heart will tell you the truth faster than your mind ever could. Chosen one, the loneliness and isolation you feel are not signs of emptiness or abandonment. They are signs of clarity and protection. Heaven is guarding what God has placed inside you. God is making sure that when the sudden wealth arrives, it will fall into a heart and life that are steady, strong, and pure. You are not being left behind or separated for no reason. You are being made holy and ready. This process of being set apart is building the character, strength, and understanding you will need to keep and grow what God is about to give you. Never forget this. The chosen one is never truly alone. You are surrounded by angels, by purpose, by protection, and by God's perfect plan. The times you feel lonely will pass, but the calling you have is forever. The wealth coming to you will not just change your life. It will require you to be a changed person so you can carry it without falling apart. Heaven is already shaping that new version of you right now. Chosen one, as you continue to walk through the unfolding of your destiny, you need to realize that sudden wealth brings more than just financial blessing. It brings spiritual traps hidden as opportunities. These traps are tricky, smart, and they usually appear just when you are closest to breaking through. They don't come in obvious attacks, but come dressed up as chances for success, influence, and quick progress. The only way to spot these traps is through the spiritual wisdom and understanding God has been teaching you during your difficult seasons. I learned this lesson deeply when I started seeing opportunities that seemed perfect. Contracts filled with promise, partnerships that matched my vision so well that my mind said yes before my spirit could respond. But each time I stopped to listen, something felt wrong inside. A heavy feeling would sit in my chest, a tightening in my spirit, a stillness that made me pause. And those pauses saved my purpose more times than I can count. You must understand this, chosen one. When God lifts you up, He protects you through your spiritual wisdom, not by making the path easy. Sometimes the greatest gift He gives is the ability to feel when something that looks right is actually wrong in your spirit. The enemy cannot stop your wealth, but he will try to pollute it. He will try to trap you by offering you opportunities that promise quick success but demand quiet compromises. He will place people around you who speak your language perfectly but whose hearts are not aligned with God's plan. He will bring people close who seem to share your calling on the outside but secretly serve dark purposes. And if you are not spiritually grounded, you might confuse agreement with true alignment. In my own life, there was an offer during a time when everything was moving fast for me. It promised exposure, resources, and connections that could have put me in rooms I once dreamed about. On the surface, it felt like the breakthrough I had been waiting for, but the peace wasn't there. My spirit felt uneasy. Even though the contract was perfect, the people seemed friendly, and the opportunity looked divine, I walked away without fully understanding why. Months later, those same people were found to be manipulating, exploiting, and hiding their real motives. They were using hungry people for their own gain. That was when I learned that spiritual wisdom protects your destiny. Sometimes God doesn't give reasons, He gives warnings. Choosing to obey those warnings instead of following logic saved my purpose. Chosen one, sudden wealth will bring people who want the shine of your blessing, but don't want to carry the heavy responsibility of your calling. Some will come with bright smiles but have small hearts. Some will offer to partner with you but secretly want to control you. Some will promise to lift you up but only want to lift themselves by using you. You must stay grounded and listen carefully to your inner voice, even when your mind wants to say yes. Your spirit has already walked into rooms your body hasn't reached yet. It knows when someone is a true blessing and when they are a trap. And here is something important you must know. When the chosen one rises, the enemy doesn't come openly as an enemy. He comes disguised as an answer. He may show up as a friend, a mentor, a business partner, or even a spiritual leader. He will use familiarity, flattery, and false agreement to get close to what God has given you. This is why your ability to feel the atmosphere, to read the spirits of people, and to detect hidden motives is more important now than ever before. The next chapter of your life will require decisions that cannot be made just based on feelings or excitement. These decisions must come from clear spiritual revelation, but also hear this: not every door that closes is because of spiritual attack. Sometimes God closes doors because He knows your heart is too pure to survive what is behind them. Sometimes heaven says no because your name belongs in places that have integrity, not just influence. God is not holding back from you. He is protecting what is inside you from being spoiled by things that look good but are bad. Every time you walked away from something, it was a victory. Every door that didn't open was protection. Every almost success was heaven saying, "Not this one, chosen one." The sudden wealth coming to you is clean, backed by heaven, perfectly timed, and fully protected. Because of that, the people you work with must also be clean and pure in their hearts. Your decisions must be led by your spirit, not just your mind. Your steps must be careful and intentional. You cannot afford to be tangled with people who move through darkness while pretending to serve the light. You cannot afford to build with hands that hide secret plans. You cannot afford to join forces with anyone whose honesty can be bought or sold. This is why God trained you in seasons when you had little, not to make you suffer, but to make you spiritually sensitive. You learned what it is like to rely on your inner knowing when there were not many resources. You learned to hear God's voice in the quiet moments when nothing around you made sense. You learned to trust the uncomfortable feelings that warned you when someone's heart was not pure. These lessons were not just to help you survive. They were training you to be a wise steward. Sudden wealth is not only a blessing, it is a battlefield. But you are not going into this battle alone. You are going in protected, prepared, strong, and spiritually awake. Heaven has gone before you. Angels have cleared the path you are about to walk. God has already revealed every enemy plan meant to trick you, distract you, or stop you. Your only job now is to trust what your spirit is telling you, even when your eyes don't see it yet. You were not chosen to have ordinary wealth. You were chosen for divine wealth. Wealth that requires a protected spirit, a pure heart, and a wise mind. This new season will demand all three from you. But you are ready. Heaven has declared it. Chosen one, as you continue to move deeper into this spiritual journey, prepare your heart for a truth many successful people never expect. Your first big financial breakthrough will not feel like the end of the journey. It will feel like a fight. You might expect people to celebrate you, but instead you may face challenges and confrontation. You might want peace, but instead you may feel pressure. You might hope for relief, but instead You may be given responsibilities you didn't see coming. This is because the first million or first major financial change is not the blessing itself. It is the announcement of who you are becoming. When unexpected elevation comes, it wakes up forces that ignored you before. There was a time when I thought success would make life easier, but when God lifted me up, I saw that elevation makes you visible in new ways. Enemies who once ignored you will pay attention. Competitors who thought you didn't matter will notice you. Systems that overlooked you will start watching your every move. This is not because you are doing something wrong. It is because you have passed a spiritual point that threatens the darkness that tried to hold you down. God didn't just lift you financially, He lifted you spiritually, and spiritual lifting always causes spiritual pushback. Sudden wealth brings legal battles. It brings unexpected audits, roadblocks, and people who try to confuse you or slow you down. It brings smiling faces that hide traps. It brings advisors who seem trustworthy, but whose loyalty changes when money is involved. I experienced this when my first breakthrough happened. Instead of feeling safe, I felt watched. Instead of feeling happy, I felt analyzed. People wanted to know how much I had, who I was working with, and what my next steps were. Some wanted access to me, others wanted information, a few wanted control. That was the moment I understood something very important. Wealth makes you a target. It also makes you a threat to every force that wanted you to stay small. Then comes a different kind of battle, the spiritual fight connected to your family history. Every family carries invisible chains, poverty, addiction, fear, broken dreams, that try to limit your success. These forces don't want you to win because your victory breaks their power. When you enter into wealth, you break these chains. You become the one who changes the story. You become the interruption that the enemy did not expect. This fight is not because you are weak, but because you are important. I felt this fight when I started making decisions no one in my family had ever made. Suddenly, I faced fears I couldn't explain, anxiety that made no sense, and spiritual heaviness that came out of nowhere. Later, I understood I was not just fighting for myself. I was fighting for my whole family's future. I was breaking chains that didn't want to be broken. Chosen one, sudden wealth brings new pressure. You might feel tempted to do too much to prove yourself, to impress people, or to prove your worth by what you give or show. But remember this, wealth does not define you, your purpose defines you. The enemy wants to use your blessing to distract you from your true mission. He wants to keep you so busy trying to keep up appearances that you forget why God gave you this blessing. You must guard your heart against wanting to please everyone. You must resist measuring your value by what others say or think. You must learn to say no, even when the opportunity looks good. Not every door is meant to open. Some doors are traps dressed up as upgrades, but despite the battles, pressure, attention, and new responsibilities, never forget the truth that carries you. You are protected. God did not give you wealth and then leave you alone to figure it all out. The same God who prepared the blessing also prepared your protection. You are not walking into a battlefield alone. You are walking into a place of fulfillment. You are stepping into answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. You are walking into rooms that were prophesied long before you were born. And every challenge that comes with sudden wealth is a sign that you have moved into a new level. Here is the deeper truth. Your rise is not just for yourself. It is for every person connected to your destiny. Every choice you make now carries weight. Every step you take affects not just your future, but also the futures of generations to come. This is why the pressure feels heavier. This is why the battles feel stronger. You are carrying more than success. You are carrying a calling. You are carrying your family's future. You are carrying healing and restoration for those who could not reach what you are reaching. The first million is not the end of the journey. It is the moment when heaven says you are ready to build. Chosen one, wealth will change your life, but it will also change your battles. And this change is not something to fear. It is something to welcome. The weight you feel is not a burden. It is the weight of authority. The pressure you feel is not about breaking. It is the pressure of growth. And the resistance you face is not proof that you are failing. It is proof that you are making an impact. You are not just rising up. You are changing the spiritual environment around you, and the enemy notices when the chosen one rises. You were not made to break. You were made to build. You were not chosen to fall. You were chosen to rise. And what is coming will need the strongest, most awake and spiritually grounded version of you. But that version is already coming. Heaven sees it, the enemy fears it, and soon the whole world will see it. Chosen one, as you keep moving deeper into this divine elevation, there is an important truth you must let settle in your spirit. The wealth coming to you is not just to improve your life. It is meant to overflow from you into places, people, and purposes far beyond what you see now. God is not equipping you to outshine others. He is equipping you to give to nations. The weight of this responsibility is why the pressure has been so strong, why the battles have been so fierce, and why your preparation has been so personal and sometimes painful. Heaven does not put this level of responsibility in the hands of those who are unstable, selfish, or short-sighted. It chooses those who have been refined by fire, humbled in secret seasons, and made strong by battles that few others saw. You must understand, Anointed One, that the wealth coming into your life is not by chance. It has been planned carefully, timed perfectly, and placed exactly to match your purpose. God is not simply looking for someone who can become rich. He is searching for someone he can trust to become a center of blessings for many. He wants someone who looks beyond their own needs and understands that wealth is not about glory or showing off. Wealth is about responsibility and leadership. It is about managing resources wisely for the greater good. God is looking for someone who has not only financial ability but also clear spiritual understanding. Someone who knows that money in the wrong hands can cause destruction, but money in the right hands can bring freedom and blessing. And Chosen One, you are those right hands God is trusting. There was a time in my own life when I truly realized how deeply God thinks when He gives wealth to someone. I received a blessing that I did not expect, and it was more than I thought I was ready for. At first, I was happy and celebrated, thinking the blessing was just for me. But soon after, God started showing me needs around me, people who required help, and assignments that needed resources I had never been able to provide before. I began to see families who were struggling and needed support, visions that could only move forward with funding, opportunities waiting for help, and lives just one prayer away from being transformed. That was the moment I understood the blessing was not for my comfort or pleasure. It was about my ability to make a difference in the world. This understanding changed everything for me. It changed how I thought about increase, responsibility, and myself. I was not just receiving a blessing, I was being given a great trust. Chosen One, you must accept this truth boldly. God is raising you to be someone whose generosity changes the atmosphere around you. You are being made into someone whose giving creates ripples that will reach places you may never visit. You are becoming someone who funds dreams that heaven has planted in the hearts of others. You will open doors for people who have been ignored and forgotten. You will be the one who breaks curses by releasing the resources needed for change. You will become the answer to prayers whispered in quiet places you will never see. This is what it means to carry kingdom wealth. It is not about holding on tightly to money. It is about letting it go for the sake of others. It is not about owning wealth for yourself, but about managing it wisely for a greater purpose. It is not about collecting money, but about fulfilling a mission. But to carry this kind of divine wealth, your way of thinking must change. You must start thinking beyond what is easy or comfortable. You must look past personal gain. Wealth can either make your ego bigger or lift your purpose higher. The chosen one knows that ego is too small a container for what heaven wants to pour out. That is why God has spent years softening your heart, growing your spirit, and sharpening your vision. He could not allow pride to ruin what he plans to use for great impact. He could not allow fear or doubt to stop the work he is calling you to do. He could not let old habits spoil the new blessings he is giving. So God has been shaping you. He has changed how you think. He has taught you through seasons of not having enough. He has shaped you through struggles and opened your eyes spiritually. So when the wealth comes, it will not change who you are. You will be the one to shape how you use it. Here is something important you must know. Sudden wealth brings a new kind of temptation. It is not the temptation of not having enough, but the temptation of having too much. When you enter into a season of financial overflow, everything around you will change. New chances will come to you, new invitations will find you, new voices will try to get your attention, and with every new door that opens, heaven will ask a question. Will you use your wealth to serve yourself, or will you use it to serve a higher purpose? Will you build kingdoms that only last a short time, or will you build the kingdom of God that lasts forever? Will your wealth reflect your own desires, or will it reflect God's plan? Many people lose their way when they get wealth. They forget who they were before the blessing came.